Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Hope everybody is doing well. You had a fun filled Diwali, and now that everybody is back to their routine, their school classes, I thought of taking this session and briefing you and making you aware of something known as backlogs. So, just to start with, there is a very good, wonderful Doha which I have come across during my childhood, and it is just coming to my mind again and again. The Doha is by Kabir Das ji. So it says, "काल करे सो आज करे सो अब, पल में परले आएगा, बहुरी करेगा कब." Though I am an English teacher, but I feel all languages are universal. Hindi is equally important. So why this came to my mind is that sometimes when we face backlogs, procrastination is also one of the reasons for backlog, right? So without taking much of your time, let us now move on to the topic, and I'll just introduce you. So you can see the topic which I have taken up. I'll be just briefing you about that. Moving on. Okay, so how to cope up with backlogs? Probably in the current scenario, what the students are facing, I can very much correlate this topic, wherein children are struggling between their virtual classes, their online extra classes, probably the online tutorials that they are having, and the rest of the notes that they have to complete, because there are marks which are allotted for these completion of notes and everything, the way the CBSE marks distribution is done. So probably we'll have a discussion, we'll have a very wonderful session on this, and I'll be telling you what are the strategies, right? And how will you cope up with your pending lessons? How will you and of course, how will you avoid backlogs in future? So let me just introduce myself. I am Paramita Chattaraj, and I've been teaching on Unacademy as a batch educator since the month of April. I'm qualified and having an experience of over 15 years. Apart from that, I've been trained under British Council, and I've been awarded certificates under various training workshops, as well as I've been awarded as the activity coordinator by British Council, and I was fortunate enough to attend a lot of training sessions. I have also good administrative skills, and for me, teaching English is just not per se curriculum. I want my children to be very, very skillful and master this subject. So moving ahead, everybody is ready. All right, so let's crack it. Now, the first and foremost reason for backlogs can be either you are sick, you might have missed few classes for some or the other reason, right? Now, sometimes apart from being sick, there are other family priorities which probably makes you go through these backlogs. So whether you were sick and missed a few classes or simply just fell behind, a study backlog is both concerning and difficult to remedy. We all know. Once we get backlogs or once we get something which is pending, it bothers us. It makes us all the more stressed. You must first create a list of what you need to do and a study schedule that you can follow consistently. Utilize as much of your free time as you can to get work done. Reach out to your professors, classmates, friends, tutors, etc. And when you are done, start thinking about how do you avoid such backlogs in future. Now, talking about this particular content which I have mentioned on this slide is the first and foremost thing. There can be multiple reasons. You might be sick for a longer period of time, you might not be able to attend the class for some or the other family commitment or whatever, might be traveling, something unforeseen which makes you fall behind your schedule, and then the pending lessons, they start piling up, and that starts bothering you, isn't it? Now, the first and foremost thing that you are supposed to be doing is, get a hold of what is pending, rather than just sitting and brooding and bothering as to, oh my God, what am I going to do? How am I going to complete it? Of course, there is a solution. At that point of time, when there is a pending thing, when there is a backlog, the thought which could come to you is, now what? What am I going to do? How am I going to complete it? There can be n number of ways, and I am going to talk to you about these strategies, and after that we'll just move on. And it is just not you planning, your professors, your classmates, you must have a small group on whom you can rely upon, right? So, and then when you have gathered everything, you start thinking. Probably what happens with most of the students is, when there is a lot of backlog, it stresses them a lot, right? And at that point of time, what is the first thing that you are supposed to be doing when you have already come to know that, okay, fine, this is the backlog and I will have to find out a remedy? So the first thing is a plan of action. Rather talking about it, thinking about it, right? This is what is the first and foremost thing, that a plan of action has to be there at your end, and it is you only who's going to develop a plan of action, rather just thinking, sulking, what am I going to do? All right. So what is this plan of action all about? Okay. Now, the first and foremost, it is quite easy for a person on the other end to advise to, a person to stay calm, wherein we don't see such trends in students or whosoever. Even sometimes we as professionals also may have backlogs, but then if the strategies are quite organized, and if we are balanced, and if we know that how to cope up with this backlog, we'll be able to handle it. So right now I'm focusing from the point of view of students, that if you have a lot of pending, of late I have been hearing my students that, ma'am, I have been completing notes, I'm very sorry I couldn't attend your class. But the point is, why this backlog, why this has piled up? It is just because probably the initial stage or the initial few months when the lessons were done, the notes were not done, and then suddenly you realize, oh my God, there's a lot which has piled up. Now what do I do? Right? At that point of time, you really have to stay calm. Rather than panicking or beating yourself over your current situation, you are not going to accomplish anything. Stay focused, control your actions and mind, and definitely this is the T. Repeat to yourself, I can do this, while taking a few deep breaths. Yes, if you say this to yourself, if you believe in yourself, definitely you can do it, right? There is nothing called impossible. Instead, it is I am possible. So, if you stay calm, get hold of the situation, develop a plan of action, then probably you will sail through. Definitely, yes. And if you find yourself just doing the opposite, right? You start brooding over yourself that, oh my God, whether I'll be able to do it or not, there is so much left. No, this should not be the thought process. Say it aloud. Focus on the present and future. Yes, what is past is past. Uske बारे में सोच के let us not waste time. So what is the present? The present is that I will have to have a plan of action, and after that my plan of action and my coping up with my pending work or my backlog is going to be my future. Period. Simple, right? So, moving ahead. Now comes your assignments. Well, This is probably a perennial problem among all the students, that you get a lot of assignments, right? Now that all the classes are happening virtually, I'm sure there has to be a lot of, worksheets which have been given by your teachers, or maybe the completion of notebooks in terms of writing question and answers which are there in your textbooks, and some of the extra question answers as well. Now, what am I supposed to be doing? The first and foremost, the syllabi or the syllabus should be on your fingertips, as well as you should have all your assignment sheets and whatever has been sent by the teacher virtually or through email or whatever. You should be having a folder of each subject, and all the PDFs or all the assignment sheets should be there in separate folders on your desktop or whatever device you are using. Okay, then after that, if you are using a pen and the paper, this is a small plan that you are supposed to be doing. On the left side, see a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle on the left side. Place the dates of any exam and the due date for all assignments. This can be done. You can either do it on your laptop or your desktop or your phone, or I would always suggest a pen and paper is a ready reckoner. That's the best way. So draw the line, divide the page into different columns, and whatever is the subject, whatever is the examination date and the assignment date has to be mentioned very methodically and systematically, so that whenever you pick up that notebook, you have a track of all the due dates. Okay, fine. English assignment, social studies assignment, maths assignment, science assignment, or whatever it is, I will have to submit it on this particular date. Why? Because I have my examination and my teacher has to assess me and my teacher has to allot me marks. Okay. Now after this, you will have to take up one assignment, one subject at a time rather than going haphazardly. So if you will here, again there is one small task which I would advise is if the due dates as per the subject, you will have to see what is the priority. Okay, so if as per the subject there is the due dates are prioritized, for example in the first week of December you have an assignment of maths, and then the second week the due date is for English, and the third week so on and so forth, subject wise. Please prioritize them, keep a track of the due dates, and after you have completed your assignments, please put a tick mark, chota sa column banaiye. Alright, there are 3-4 columns that you can just prepare and keep putting ticks. We as teachers, we also do it. There are a lot of records that we have to maintain. That okay, fine, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. For example, I prepare Excel sheets, right, for creating a course and for chalking down all the lessons, date wise, day wise, and time wise, grade wise. And since I have only one subject, so this is grade 9, day, date, time, and this is the topic that I am taking. Okay, so I have to, that becomes my Bible. Similarly, this also is supposed to be your Bible. Now, for example, these things are giving you a lot of stress. Okay, this particular column, making the column may be very helpful to create a general to-do list. You know what? While I was, working in a school, all the teachers, we had a to-do list for every day. So there was a small notebook which was maintained by me, and I have seen my colleagues as well, writing down that, okay, fine, this is what I'm going to do pehle, after that, so on and so forth. There may be 4 or 5 things in a day which can be managed by you, and that is going to be your to-do list. Alright. If you are getting into some extra work, every person has got his or her professional as well as personal work. So both the things. For you also there must be some personal work which your parents must be assigning. But I would tell you to prioritize your academics first. Make the to-do list accordingly. So my to-do list will include what? Pehle I will be doing the English assignment, followed by the maths, and then science as per the submission dates. So that is going to be my to-do list. And every day if you prepare a to-do list, It is going to slowly relax you and ease your mind, and you will see the stresses slowly vanishing away. Right? You just have to fall into certain disciplinary habits, which is very, very essential. So, moving on. The next one says prioritize your workload. Now, of course, everybody has workload. Even if you are a student, you are a professional, or whosoever you are, everybody has got their own load of work, professional, personal. As students, I know these days the syllabus, the way of teaching, the curriculum, everything matters, and it has become a very huge task. Now that you have made an initial list or a to-do list, now you will have to decide how will you tackle your workload. I'm telling you, see, on the first, second or third day, you might be feeling that this is a huge amount of workload. Slowly, when you start organizing this, believe me, take my word, the workload is going to be balanced, because it is you who have to tackle this. All right. So the first thing, after developing the plan of action, I prepare my to-do list and I will have to organize my workload. Right. Now, as I said, if you have a notebook, that has to be your ready reckoner. That has to be your to-do list. Okay. Now the first items, that is what I said. For example, as per the due dates, if the assignments are due, all right. If maybe English is due, so you will have to prioritize it, followed by maths, then social science, then Hindi, and you may have science and then other subjects or whatever it is. Okay. So first thing, you'll have to check the due date, prioritize that this is the first due date of submission, first subject, second subject, so on and so forth. But having said that, please be mindful of the thing. Do not end up taking all the subjects in one day. It is not going to bring you anything for that matter. It is simply going to bring you back from where you had started. You will just bounce back to that old, stressful situation where you are completely bothered. Oh my God, what am I going to do? What is this, happened to me? How am I going to cope up with my backlog? So I would suggest 2, maximum of 3 subjects in a day. Because you will have your school classes, you will have your other online classes, you will have your unacademy classes. So I feel maximum of 2 subjects can be handled in a day, because your school will again start giving you homeworks and assignments and practice sheets, etc. So your agenda 1, then followed by 2, and so on and so forth. This is how my to-do list goes. Even I, as an educator, as a teacher, always prioritize that I will be taking up these 3 works on priority, and then I have my classes also, I have my household also. So this is how it goes. You will want to take into account the due date, the difficulty level of the task, and your individual confidence level in each area. Yes, this is a very, very important point for you to make note of while you are watching this session. Please, while I have already spoken to you about the due date, now comes the difficulty level. There are students who find, maximum students who find maths as very difficult. Now, if there are maths exercises given to you, or maths practice sheets, or maths assignment given to you, if you find that it is difficult, sabse pehle usko lo. You will have to take that particular assignment on priority, finish it off, give yourself a break, okay, check how confident you are, and then the second assignment, not before that. Why I am saying that? You may please put your comments in the comment box, okay? Why is this particular exercise, that first, checking the difficulty level and then doing the assignment, important? That's my question. Okay, so please put your comments in the comment box, and we'll have an interaction. So this is very much necessary. This also makes you understand how confident you are to do a task independently, right? Because these assignments and these tasks which are given by your teachers are to make you practice, especially when it comes to English and maths. I have always advised my students, English and maths are such subjects that you will have to practice it on daily basis. There is no substitute to it. You will have to do it. So that while your exams have been approaching, you will be completely comfortable that I have revised this topic also, revised this topic also, this topic also. That's the reason probably during my plus classes I make the students write a lot. Yeah, while the subjective evaluations or revisions are taken, I make them write a lot of question answers, and that is how they fall into the system of writing, and I check them also. Yes, I rectify their errors also, and they have been doing wonderful. It's good to see that they've fallen into this practice. But there are students who have been telling me that after they've got a lot of assignments and there's a lot of backlog. Okay, so they're not able to cope up. And they say, ma'am, likhte likhte haath dukh gaya. So why? Aise kaise? Suddenly, maybe there has to be, some system which might not be proper in the school or whatever it is. But now that we are discussing, the strategies are for you to not fall into the trap of backlogs. So these are some of the things which I am talking about and which you have to implement in order to avoid something which is piling up or something which is a backlog. So, moving on. To assess difficulty, you may want to look at your other scores for similar material. Okay, now this is again something very, very important. While doing your assignments and while assessing yourself, assignments are different, assessment is different. Assessment is something which is a test or an evaluation which is conducted by the teachers. Now, somewhere or the other you see that in a subjective test or in an objective test, you must have received maybe a 65. Maybe you have received 65 out of 80 in maths. Alright, maybe a 65 out of 80 in English. Maybe in social studies. Social studies scoring is very difficult, and so is English, because these are theoretical subjects. And for English, definitely being an English educator, I know how the marks are allotted and how grammar, sentence construction, punctuation, etc. matters. Now you have seen that this is the kind of score that you have received in the last assessment. So, what comes to your mind? Please post it in the comment box. What comes to your mind? I'll tell you also. Okay. Now, here the mantra is, the strategy is, the hack is that if I have received this many marks, maybe in English or maths or any subject, I need to work a little more to improve the score. For example, this may take priority over studying for a class where you are holding a consistent A average. Now, your grade must be an average of A. Okay, so aiming for an A plus or an A star is nothing wrong, because here your confidence level is being checked that if I can have an average of A, why can't I study a little more, and why can't I just devote a little more time on that particular subject and move my scores to A plus. This is also a part of your strategy, wherein this is something which was pending, which was in store, and you can start working on it in order to just avoid that pending studying time which you should be incorporating or developing. Now comes notes. That's the most important part. Okay, now probably your notes are not at par. Here I would also suggest that peer learning. I always tell my students peer learning is very good. Sometimes asking for notes from a child or a classmate who's better, probably who may be better off, and maintaining a good relation with such kind of a child who can definitely share his or her notes with you, please go for it. There is just no place of any ego or anything. It is always, see, peer learning is the best learning, wherein I consider myself as a learner. I learn a lot of things from my colleagues, lot of things. I consider myself as a lifelong learner, so why can't you? You are just a student, right? So if you feel that your notes can be better, now it is not, at par, at that level, please consult maybe a peer, and you can also try improvising it on your own, first thing. And for reference, devote some more time and check how can I develop my notes and how can I improvise my notes and how can I devote more time to get into that level where my notes can be identified as a better one. All right. Okay. This is also very, very important. There are many students who are completely ignorant about what is happening in the class. Okay. So, listing and listening also. Now, for some reason or the other, you may be aware of maybe two assignments. Okay. So, probably the other subjects are left out. Please avoid doing this. Now, be careful of listing all of one course's assignments together in the priority order, as you may get exhausted just working on one subject over and over again. Yes, this causes a monotony. I'll talk to you about this. Instead, look for opportunities to integrate different projects into your list while still making progress. Now, what does this mean? For example, English or maybe maths, you've got maybe 4 assignments, different assignments. Okay, so have you made a list of that? Is this a practice that you incorporate? For example, मुझे maths में polynomials भी मिला है, मुझे trigonometry भी है, algebra भी है. So there are probably three different assignments. And let us talk about English. I have got a character sketch, I've got a poetry analysis, and I've got question answers of maybe 2 chapters. Have I listed them? Answer me. How many of you organize all the assignments? This is this subject, this is the assignment of this subject, this is the assignment of this subject. See, the first and foremost thing I'm telling you, everybody has to be very organized. To come out of this stress that, oh my God, ab kya hoga? There is so much piled up, there is so much of backlog. See, if you are organized, nothing of that sort is going to happen. What I am trying to explain you is that if you are in 9th grade or you are in 10th grade, subject-wise listing of all the assignments, of different assignments has to be done. Uske baad your priority comes that, okay, fine, I will have to do this particular assignment pehle, then iske baad ye, iske baad ye. This is what you are going to do. There is just no substitute to it. There are no shortcuts. Unfortunately or fortunately, there are no shortcuts. Alright. Now, sometimes what happens is that, while you are doing a particular subject, it creates a lot of monotony. Ek subject, doing, going on. So what you can do? Take up one project of one subject, complete it. Take up another project or another assignment of another subject, complete it. This will give you a break from the monotony. And if you have done your project, give me a minute, please. 1 minute, please. Okay. Now, what I was saying, if you have done your project and if you might have got, say, out of 5 marks, you might have received 3 in the last time that you had done your assignment. This time, your aim should be, I will have to make a jump or a progress. How do I do it? There has to be some good development in your content of your assignment and your project also, which will strive you to go towards a 4 or a 4.5. So this consistency, this progress has to be maintained while you are doing different assignments of different subjects. Okay? All right. So there we go. I have just put, few questions, not much though, and you all can post your answers in the comment box. There are maximum of probably 3 to 4 questions, and I'll just project it and we'll have a discussion also. Okay. Okay, now the first question goes here. There are many strategies of coping up with backlog in studies. Which of the following best describes a strategy? You may take 10-20 seconds and you may just post the answer. See, there are 4 options which have been given. Plan of action, no concentration, disoriented thought process, and none of the above. So whatever is the correct answer, please post it in the comment box, and then we will have, I will just, type and put my message, what it is, and whatever is the correct answer, please put it. I'll just wait for 5-6 seconds. What's the correct answer? Just put it in the comment box. Okay? All right. So let's have a discussion on this. I hope you all have given your answer. So the first, there are 4 options: plan of action, no concentration, disoriented thought process, and none of the above. And it is quite obvious that I had started my session by telling you that instead of talking, there has to be a plan of action. And this is one of the strategy to avoid your backlog in studies, right? So if you have a good plan of action, you can definitely avoid having backlogs in studies. Now, the second question here is, coping up with the stress of backlog refers to the effort to manage stress in a given situation. Please read all the options very carefully. You may get a little confused. Consistent strategies to tackle stress in a given situation. No efforts, none of the above. All right, I'm waiting. Put the correct answer in the comment box. Okay, sometimes what happens is there is a lot of stress which is caused because of pending work, and when you are lagging behind, and when there is a lot of backlog. So how do you cope up with that stress? How will you do it? Well, the correct strategy here would be consistent strategies to tackle stress in a given situation. Someday you are low at your energy, and someday you apply the strategy, and someday you do not. That shows that you are completely indecisive and you are not organized. So here the option would be consistent strategies to tackle stress in a given situation. Okay, rather than getting very, very tense and panicky, you will have to just apply these strategies that will automatically bring down your stress. Next. How do you set your priority in terms of studying in an organized way? Creating a to-do list with reference to the difficulty level of a particular subject. Changing priorities every now and then in terms of subjects. Not applying any efforts to prioritize the subjects. All of the above. Please read all the options carefully and put the correct answer in the comment box. We have already discussed this, and I have given you a very detailed explanation of how would you prioritize and how would you apply the second and the third strategy after the plan of action. This is also a part of your plan of action, and the correct answer would be creating a to-do list with reference to the difficulty level of a particular subject. We have already discussed, if you find maths to be difficult and you want to just see how confident you are, you will have to prioritize that particular subject, and so on and so forth. And the to-do list is going to be in accordance to that. All right. Yes. How should you balance your workload? How do you do it? By doing all the work in one go? By doing the work but in an unproductive way? By listening to useless advices? Or by taking into account the due date, the difficulty level of the task, and your individual confidence level in that area? Read it. I think all of these, whatever options, whatever is the correct option, this has been discussed by me, and I have told you how to go about it in an organized way. And without any doubt, option D, by taking into account the due date, the difficulty level of the task, and your individual confidence level in each area, is supposed to be applied as a strategy to cope up with your backlog. So I hope these questioners have clarified all your doubts regarding the coping up, and we will now move on to some more strategies. Now this study schedule, which is known as to be realistic, is move through your list in priority order to assess how long a task will take. Okay, now what is this all about? If you are spending 3 hours writing that paper, then look at your calendar for each week and match up your free time with the list of items. This is also applicable. Now, each free slot should have a corresponding item assigned to it. Yes. Now, study schedule. I always, advise my students to prepare a proper schedule throughout the day, that, utilizing the free time when you are not having your online or your offline classes or whatever your school classes, and whenever, it's not necessary that all free times have to be completely occupied with studies. Okay, sometimes certain things related to studies can be done, but for that a very realistic study schedule has to be prepared. Otherwise you cannot go ahead. You will, every day you will find that things are going in a very, very haphazard way. So now talking about the study schedule. What is the entire study schedule all about? Now, as a student, even if you are a board-bound student, if you are not a board-bound student, first and foremost, creating a timetable that I wake up this and this time in the morning, and then I have my school classes. When my school classes are over, the leftover time has to be divided between your rest, your eating time, then your online classes, and finishing the assignments. Now, everywhere you must be having maybe 10-15 minutes or 20 minutes ka break. Sometimes it is advisable for you to just relax and be gadget free. That's, digital detox. So come out of your gadgets, just relax for a while, sit and meditate. And some of the free slots on a particular day can be utilized to complete. Maybe there are 20 minutes of free slots in one particular day. Now what will you do about it? So for example, there is a small assignment which has been given to you for a particular subject. Can that 20 minutes fit into that assignment? Can you do that? Probably the answer from your end, I would expect, would be a no, but still it is not impossible. For example, in a day, now especially the weekends, all right, when you do not have your unacademy class or when you do not have your school classes, the entire day has to be utilized very, very properly, very systematically and methodically. And those free slots, those 2 days, that's Saturday and Sunday, if you have less number of classes, and those free slots are supposed to be methodically utilized by assigning certain assignments, small assignments, which can be quickly and smartly completed. All right. Sometimes if it is necessary for you to avoid certain online classes to complete your assignments, that of course that every student does, because school has a due date. You will have to submit all the assignments on a particular due date because you are assigned marks for that. Okay, so there are many students who come up that, ma'am, I was completing my assignment, so I couldn't attend your class. Yes, I do understand that. But having said that, if you have a good timetable, and for example, good timetable does not just mean, sleeping till 8 or 9 on a weekend. Please don't do that. Be an early riser. You are a student at the end of the day. If you are disciplined and organized, and if you have created a very good realistic schedule along with 15-20 minutes and half an hour free slots with corresponding assignments. I feel this is going to solve your problem, and I'm very sure it is going to solve your problem. Now comes the second bullet, which is on your screen, which is try not to overschedule yourself. Make sure to keep your study sessions between 30 minutes to 2 hours long. I will talk to you about this. Add in short breaks and between sessions and keep the sessions shorter for more difficult material. Now, this is like the T. There are, excuse me, there are students who sit and study for 2 hours, 3 hours, and after that they are, terribly exhausted, and the rest of the time which is left becomes completely unproductive. So my advice, my dear children, is that please schedule all the classes, all your assignments and your study time for maximum of 30 to 40 minutes. It is a psychology. It is a research-based thing. It is seen that after 40 minutes, it is very difficult, to sustain the concentration or to keep yourself seated in one position and doing and writing it. I have seen, students who sit, who do their assignments for say 1 hour, and after that they are so devastated that they don't feel like touching any other subject. Then what is the point? What is the productivity all about? So in that case, what should you do? How should you divide your time? Please put it in the comment box. How will you divide your time? How will you divide the entire day? How will you divide the entire, your study time? How will you do it? Can we have 30 to 40 minutes class and then take a 5-7 minute or 10 minute break? Again have a 40-minute class? That means my self-study time. I'm talking about my self-study time and not the school classes or your online classes. Your online classes and your school classes are all for say 45 minutes to 1 hour. You have no way out. Now probably school classes, you have no way out to, leave the classes. Here on Unacademy, we have a class of 1 hour and that is very productively used by all the educators. Alright, so while I am doing my self-study and while I have created a schedule of myself, how would I divide my time? My time would be divided into 40 minutes of study time, self-study time, which can include doing my assignment or completing my pending work, my backlog. And after 40 minutes, I will take maybe a 5 to 10 minutes disciplined break, and after 10 minutes, I'll be back to my work. This schedule is going to be extremely productive. Trust me. Okay. Now, if you consider maybe some project or maybe some maths problem which has given to you, it is quite difficult for you. So what would you do? Here also the advice is that the session has to be shorter, because if you keep on solving maths problems which are pretty difficult for you, after a certain point of time, what will happen is you will see that your concentration, your focus, you are just losing it out, and the productivity comes down to 0. So maximum of 30 to 40 minutes session for self-study, for completing the assignment and the backlog, and then a 10 minutes break, and then again resume your self-study or your assignment time. This is what you are going to follow to the T and see whether there is a difference or not. Okay. Now throughout the day, thinking about what you are doing and looking for ways to free up additional time. For example, if you normally go home in between classes, or no, definitely there are very less chances. Now, looking into the current days and looking into your school classes also, school children are not allowed to leave, but yes, college children are allowed to, go home. If they stay close by, they can go home and they can come back. But now that you are attending virtual classes of your school also, if you keep loitering about, right, and your mom calling you, please come and have your lunch, please come and have your lunch for 10 times, and you just simply loiter about and you waste up all the time, then probably you are losing out a lot of valuable time throughout the day. But if you organize yourself only towards the weekdays, if you just pull yourself a little and try finding out time in between your busy schedule, in between all your classes, you will definitely fall into place. Okay. So this is definitely with reference to college students who might have the privilege to go home, but it is also advised to them to stay within the campus. School children, definitely they do not have an option to do so. But college students are advised to stay in the campus, sit in the library, do their studies, and complete their assignments, which I'm sure most of the college students do. And students who have the privilege to go home, they will sometimes take that facility also. But you staying at home, attending your virtual classes and having a busy day out, cutting a little bit of time and disciplining yourself, having your rest and your food, and not loitering about and not doing tick 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 on your phone, which most of the students do. Please don't fall into that. Realize that with your schedule in place, you may have to say no to taking additional responsibilities. Put your study needs first wherever possible. Okay. Now, sometimes when you are there in the school, when you were having a normal, and sometimes now also there are additional responsibilities given to you. Make a list of this, make a PowerPoint presentation. I just heard one of my students, ma'am, I made a PowerPoint presentation and I could just understand what it takes, right? So when you have seen that there is a lot of backlog, there is a lot of pending material, pending things that you have to complete, avoid taking these additional responsibilities, because at this point of time, you have to say no. For your sake, for your academics sake, and for completing the pending assignments. Otherwise, probably you will be into a soup. Okay. So, your schedule, your priority, your assignment is yours. So, taking up something, additional responsibility and doing it for the school, and if sometimes the teachers ask, so sometimes you will have to refuse it. Otherwise, you end up suffering. Now comes this. Store your class materials in separate binders or folders. And there are some people who prefer to use different colors for each class. Within the binders, place all your materials in order by date or type. Okay. Now what does this mean? This will save. Organize your binders and notes. Okay. Now the physical copy. Okay. You have your physical copy of your notes and everything. Okay. You have your folders. You keep your worksheets and everything into that. Okay. So if you have that physical file folder, use different kinds of colors to mark them, that these red ones are my English worksheets. This particular folder belongs, or you may create small folders, or you may take a one particular folder and use different colors to mark your worksheets or your assignments. These red colors are my English assignments, these blue colors are my maths, yellow colors are my social science, and as per that. Now organizing again the worksheets, the assignments as per the date. Pick it out, complete the assignment, put it inside. Date and type. What kind of, if it is a project kind of a thing that you have to sit and do it on your laptop and the assignment sheet has been given, everything should be put as per the date, as per the subject, and the colors indicate that this is this subject, this is this subject, and this is this subject. Organize them. Pick it out. It will be your ready reckoner, because you know what color belongs to which subject, what are the assignments, what are the types of assignments, and that is how you go on. Why? Why am I asking you to do this? How will it help you? Please tell me. Put it in the comment box. If you organize, see, this is a personal experience which probably I have done it as a parent. So there was a huge folder in which all the the labeling was done as per the subject. This is the assignment sheet of English. It goes inside. This goes for social studies. This goes for science. This goes for maths. So whenever, okay fine, I have that assignment to do. This is the due date. I take it out from that folder and it saves my time. All study materials should be kept in one place rather than you hunting for it here and there. You should not be doing it. This is a strong advice. Alright. Okay. Please do not end up wasting your time hunting for worksheets. Arey, ye kahan gaya? I had kept that worksheet. Now what to do? I'm not getting it. Please don't do that. Alright. Organize yourself. Now your teachers and your tutors, your online educators, all of them are always available, for you, and they are always keen to help you. So whenever there is a doubt which is arising in your mind in terms of any particular subject, you may please contact them. Alright. Now if the teacher has already given you a handout in the school, or she has mailed you maybe one of the handout, please do not bother the teacher by asking for the handout again and again. Always prefer for a soft copy. First check it with your classmates. Sometimes you might miss out, getting a handout or something, or maybe some notes. Please check with your classmates first, and then definitely you may contact your teachers, and whatever pending work is there, you may please contact them, and then you can have extensions. And you can also request your teachers, if you are really into a huge backlog, then you can just ask your teacher for a small extension, and I'm sure that request will be granted. Now this, what is meant by this? The question here is, now I am just going to, use the pen. Gather any additional study materials in advance. Now my question here is, what is meant by additional study material? Okay, so I'll be providing additional study material, maybe extra worksheets can be, extra notes and worksheets. Now these worksheets and extra sheets are always provided either by the school, and these days Unacademy, of course, we also as educators provide you with a lot of extra sheets and extra notes and extra questions. And why is it advised for you to take that in advance? Additional study material is extra notes and worksheets. And why in advance? Why are you going to take that in advance? Because it is going to, why in advance? As it helps the student it helps the student to refer to the additional study material I am just writing it. Additional study material to prepare for maybe an upcoming exam. It can be. Yes. So whatever study material you are getting from the school or wherever, if you have your resources, please organize them and keep them ready well in advance. The worksheets, handouts, extra notes, if they are provided by your teacher, if you yourself are, procuring it, everything should be organized in advance. Last 11th moment preparation is a big no-no. Especially, from my end, I would never advise. Now this particular thing I would just like to highlight is quiet study places. Wherever you study, please, the environment should not be noisy. When even I as an educator, I feel that whenever I am taking classes, the environment should be completely calm and quiet and not noisy at all. All right. For each bit of free time, come up with a study spot in advance. You may head to a particular table in the library. In your school environment, if you find that this classroom is very noisy and you have a free time and you want to complete your assignment and you want to complete your notes, you may please go to the library. Probably that's the quietest place. And even if you are studying at home, please try to find out if you are sitting somewhere and if it is quite noisy, then please try to have a rotation of places and sit at a place where it is completely calm and quiet. Sometimes, of course, there can be distractions. You yourself might be creating distractions. You tend to pick up your phone and then you start checking messages, or must be a friend who might be calling or whatever it is. Sometimes coaching centers are also like that. So if you see that that particular place is not comfortable for you to study, please change that place. But make sure when you are studying, when you are sitting and studying and doing your notes, your assignments, completing your backlogs, please make it a point that it's a calm and quiet area so that you can focus and you can produce something which is good. It has to be productive. It cannot be just, completing the assignment or the backlog just for the sake of doing it. You do not do that. All right. Sometimes you find a particular place to be very, very boring. Yeah, a person like me, definitely. I keep changing places. Okay. So if it is like a routine, you may change your place, but make sure it's calm. This is like very, very important. Please don't get into distractions, right? Turn off your phone, put it away. Don't get into your laptop again and again to, find out something which is related to any social media or anything. All right. And the third point, put your other to-do list out of your mind and concentrate on finishing up as much work as you can. This is extremely significant. Why? Why is this extremely significant? Why I am saying you? Yes. All right, 1 minute. This particular point is very, 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 very significant because when you have a to-do list prepared, you must be having 3 to 4 items, 3 to 4 work, 3 to 4 maybe assignments at a time. Okay. Now at that particular point of time, you're doing one particular assignment. So your focus should be, how do I complete that particular assignment in a productive way? And how do I produce a good content, rather than thinking about, okay, I have to do that also, I have to do that also, I have to complete that assignment also. That will not bring you anything. Okay, the entire session focused on being organized and how to tackle your to-do list, how to prioritize, how to balance your workload. So at that point of time, you will have to concentrate. Check that I have to finish off as much work as I have, as I can, and after that I will be taking up the second work. That is what I am advising you to do. Okay, everybody has got some or the other learning style or study practices. There are people, I have seen people, putting in music and doing maths, but I would not advise you to do that. There can be different ways of learning. There are people who can learn with the help of diagrams. There are students who can learn with the help of audiovisual aids. Sometimes direct notes from the book. Okay. Or sometimes if there is an audio note that you can have and that you feel that your grasping is good. Okay. So there can be different ways in which probably your self-study and your grasping can be figured out. Okay, your learning style is your own. You will have to see what works best for you. Okay, and then fix it up and then, continue with that particular learning style and stick to it. Don't be fidgetive. Okay, so because, that will help you to be more and more productive. having very good study partners. Rather, these days it is a trend to have group studies, going to somebody's place and 3-4 students getting together and probably having a group study. But having said that, just don't do it for the sake of doing it. You should have good study partners who are going to help you really in terms of your academics. Okay, and you should be sticking to your task. If you are doing a task, stay focused. Expect and advise your study partners also. So that kind of study partner has to be chosen, and see that when you are doing a group study, it is productive. Okay, and there is one more thing which, if works, can work as wonder. For example, if you are studying in a group, you are 3 to 4 people or maybe 5 people, and all 5 people have different strategies. Those strategies can be interchanged. So for example, if I am studying with 4 of my friends, and all those 4 friends have got certain strategies, and they are comfortable enough to share those strategies, and those strategies can be implemented, and I may have some strategy which can be implemented for studying. That is also very good, and that actually works very good if it is done methodically, and all the assignments and all the backlog that you have can be very productively managed. This is a very good strategy which I am telling you. So this also has to be done. Now comes the most important thing. Please avoid that you don't have any backlog in future. As I said, these are the 4 important things that you should be looking upon. Maintain your study calendar, your schedule to reflect your pacing, recognize and avoid past reasons for falling behind, and create a support network. I have already told you how will you be maintaining your study calendar. Your complete schedule has to be chalked out in terms of your school classes, the day-to-day schedule, your waking up, in between breaks, etc. Whatever you have done in the past which has made you to have a lot of backlog, please avoid that. Just avoid doing that, and have a good support network. Now this support network can be your friends also, can be your teachers also. For some reason you have to have this, because this kind of a network is going to support you. If you need excuse me, if you need some notes or some guidance from your teachers in this particular time, you have to have this kind of a network. All right, so this was the session all about. Okay, and if you follow these strategies and just revisit the entire session and check what I have spoken about. If you have any queries, you may please post it in the comment box. All questions are welcome, all queries are welcomed. Whatever are your queries, okay? Now, this was all about today's target, that we discussed how to cope up with all the backlog and the pendings, and I had curated certain multiple choice questions for you to understand what are the strategies, and I made you understand what are the strategies to cope up the backlog in terms of your education. Okay, so please share the video, like the video, and if possible watch the entire session. If you want to go back to it to implement maybe few of the strategies, you may please revisit the entire session. Now this is the most interesting thing which I am going to share with all of you, that on November 28th and 29th at 10 AM, Unacademy is launching a career quest. This is a 2-day summit wherein the registration is completely free. I would recommend you to register and get the advice of all the expert panelists. And there is another event which is coming up, which is the 5-star project, where you can learn a new skill and apply it. You have a lot of star educators. So it is going to be organized on the 22nd of November at 9 AM. So please register yourself and make the most of it. Now, talking about Unacademy and its plans, we have monthly, 6 monthly, yearly, and by two yearly plans, and if you apply my referral code, you get a 10% discount. It's either PC Live 10 or PC 29. For 6 to 12 grades, this is a wonderful learning platform wherein you are mentored by top educators. And the facilities that you get under Unacademy is live classes, weekly quizzes, doubt solving, question answer writing, test series, notes, etc. So do not just think twice, go for it. Get the Academy Plus subscription. And these are some of the ongoing batches. I am also a batch educator and I am taking revision courses for grade 9th and 10th, which is going to go on till January. And there are other PYQ batches as well as revision courses launched by different educators. So please like and subscribe my channel and go for a Plus subscription, and see you all next week. I hope you had a wonderful session. I'll see you again next week with another wonderful topic. Till then, take care and bye-bye.